Friday night, I want a Chippy Tea. Chippy Tea, Chippy Tea, I want a Chippy Tea. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tea.
I think we did alright. We don't talk about it anyway, so.
No, well, we'd have filled it with what you were going to do this year, which inevitably none of us would have actually done.
Yeah, you've done yours.
What's your New Year's resolution? Well,
yeah, less chocolate. And here I am, shoving my cake all with chocolate.
Ailey suggested that we stop using the F word, like me and Ailey. Stop using the F word as a describing word, which is an hard thing to do, you know, when you're conscious of it.
It's an adjective, yeah.
Yeah, because it's... You go, oh, it was fucking great, wasn't it? You know what I mean? You can't help it. It's a very expressive way of talking, especially me and V, being from the darkest depths of Yorkshire. It's sort of a way you express yourself, isn't it?
It's a lack of vocabulary, isn't it?
It is really, yeah.
Right, hold on tight then. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'll go for that.
Oh, your pigeon impression. Let's get jigged up. Let's do this.
Well. Here we go. Welcome to episode number 68 of the Chippy Tea podcast. Our first one in 2024. Easy for me to say, I know.
2024.
Forward. It is a chance for you to eavesdrop and to catch up and join in with a video call that's held regularly between me, Tony P at Palm Print, and
Danny D from the Flippy Sweet Printing Company.
How I say, have we gone all posh for 2024?
New year, new me.
It won't last.
It will. Going all professional.
So, yeah, we are streaming into 2024. This is the first one we've done since the Christmas episode. I've not been doing it anyway, so it's been easy for me. And it does normally go a little bit quieter through Christmas and New Year in our industry, historically.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought it'd be best to give it... No point doing a New Year's episode, because all we're going to talk about sitting on his arse eating M&Ms and shit.
Eating chocolate, yeah. But you've had a good week back now. So
yeah,
what's your first week back been like?
Have you struggled to get back into things?
Oh, I don't even want to work for a living anymore.
Yeah, you know, I have. I must be honest. I've sort of struggled to get back into routine. I think is the right word. Routine.
Routine is opening your eyes and then just staying in bed for another 2 hours. That's my hard bit.
Well, actually, that has been a bit of a thing. I mean, I got up at 6:30 this morning. I forced myself up, which you'll see why later when I tell you the story of who's been to visit me. But yeah, I got myself up at 6:30 this morning.
You were tidying, weren't you?
No, I wasn't tidying. I was caught in bloody screens, wasn't I? I suppose I might as well dive straight into it, really. Now we're halfway through the story already, aren't we? So, yeah, so got up.
Who's been to see you today, Danny?
Well, got up at crack of dawn this morning, coated some screens fresh in time for me mate Dean at Pyramid.
It's been a while. I've missed it.
I know, yeah. I'm a bit nervous about this episode, but it's coming back to me. It's all natural. Yeah, our mate Dean at Pyramid came with his various
instruments of torture,
meters and stuff like that, and we went over two things in particular. Really, we went over the emulsion and exposing it, but we also looked at the cleaning and reclaiming side of things as well. Because as you know, over this entire series of podcast episodes, I've tried various chemicals and various techniques and various brushes, sponges, whatever. And I've never fully been satisfied. So I put the challenge out today and said, look, you're coming over to help me get me emulsion dialed in terms of exposure times. Can we also have a look at the cleaning chemicals? Bring me your recommended chemical for each step of the process to perfectly complement the Plus Aqua emulsion. And he did.
Yeah, so Dean's experience for the last 30 years, almost as long as me, is working in the screen department. So he's worked in screen department, sold screen, making equipment and chemicals, and he's our version of the emulsion guru in England, basically. He really does know what he's talking about, yeah.
Yeah, he does, honestly, and he did a great job. First thing we did was we dialed in the exposure times. So it was...
Were you out?
Yeah. So if you remember, I don't know, a few months back, maybe sort of September time-ish, I switched from Sarti PHU to the Plus Aqua.
Yeah.
On, I think we both...
About 2 months now, I think.
It's been a few months, hasn't it? And it was a bit of a busy time, so I switched over. I found an exposure time that sort of worked across the board, but it wasn't dialed. It wasn't perfect. I was losing some dots. There were a little bit of breakdown on some jobs, so I was getting away with it. But I knew I would have to put some time into dialing, doing the step tests, etc.
What's your light source?
LED.
LED.
Starlight, M&R Starlight LED, which is a great little unit. I found it quite...
I see them all over, yeah.
Quite a solid little unit. The only sort of downside now is probably had it about 3 years. That rubber blanket needs replacing now. It has actually now got an hole in it, so...
Quite easy to do with a piece of neoprene. You know, stuff they make wetsuits out of. Neoprene, it's called.
Is that what it is? Because it's looking like a pricey job if I get the proper stuff.
It's cheap and it's easy to do. I've just come from a place that's just done it.
Oh,
I cut it with the teeth, like, but it does the job.
Don't matter, does it? As long as it does the job. So that is an urgent job. That's actually an emergency because printing will stop if I don't do that Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I'll probably have a look at that tonight if I can. So yeah, we did the step tests basically. I say we. Dean did it for me.
You just sat and watched.
Pretty much, yeah. Moral support. Using the calculators, which has always baffled me, honestly. I've used them in the past. But
It still baffles me, doesn't it? Whenever you have to time something by 7 and then half it by dog's age, times it by your auntie's waistline, I'm like, what? Where did you get to 6.4?
It's baffling, isn't it? I'm not good at maths at best of times, never mind all this stuff.
No,
bloody
it can be confusing.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when he explained it to me post doing it, because I've got a little calculator off him now, and
little 7-step one, a 1 to 14. You look for 7 or
both.
Yeah,
both.
Okay.
Apparently, the best method is to use both together. Couldn't tell you why. Probably explain it, but
we'll have to get Dean on to tell us why, won't we?
Yeah, that'd not be a bad little episode, actually, would it?
No, we'll get him on.
So yeah, that's sort of dialed in now, and the good thing was I was sort of using a generic time of about 40 seconds for all meshes. But now we've got it in steps, so 40, 43, or was it 42? 43 or 42?
Mesh count?
43. Yeah.
43.
43. I get 62 and 43 is mixed up all the time.
62.
That's why I prefer to just say...
a 110 American, 43T English.
That's
European.
Right.
Real money.
Got me 40s down to 50 up to 50 seconds.
From?
40. So if there's an extra 10 seconds on.
Yeah.
60s, bang on. I had it perfect at 40. And then mid-90s we've got down to about 24 seconds.
Okay.
And I'm getting much better dots. I say much better. Yeah, I'm getting better dots.
Yeah.
Some of those lower percentages, those 10, 5%, they're coming through now, which is great. Because I was just losing that.
You're on film, aren't you? So you probably stand a better chance of holding those being on film.
Yes, so I'm on film, but also there is... this is why we're doing it, really. It worked well as a sales tactic, because I'm going to try Pyramid Silver Chromaline film. Now, I'm hoping I'm going to try it, that I might actually get better results still, being a better film.
There's a different film?
It's a different film, yeah, as far as I know. So the Chromaline film, it's a bit more of an expensive film. I think Sarah's trying it as well. So maybe we should ask see what she thinks. But I know Sarah switched, and apparently she likes it, from what I've been told.
Okay.
So where I'm hoping it might help, and I'll give you a perfect real life example, which happened only a couple of days ago. I set a 6-colour job up on press.
Mhm.
I printed my first. I set it as a test print, which I now know how to do. I don't have to manually run around entire press doing it. Printed a sample off. I looked at it like, oh shit, there's half of artwork missing here. Dropped a bollock. I'm going to have to remake one screen. Because what I've done is I took John's SEPs, which were using my old reg marks, and obviously now I'm running it on the auto. So I just overlapped them and covered up the old reg marks. But I slipped up. It was a random square in the middle of my artwork. I wish I'd have noticed it before I made all screens. But it should have been a simpler job, shouldn't it? Print it, because it was only one colour. Print a new film, burn a new screen. Didn't fit. So the new film...
End at roll, start at roll.
Yeah.
Stretches.
I'm sort of hoping, I don't know this yet till I test it, but I'm hoping a more premium film from Chromaline, and let's not forget, Chromaline are the emulsion people, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they've been around a long time. Their expertise in chemicals is high. I think they've been recently bought by Sati.
Have they? Right.
So,
well, I'm hoping
they've got good history, yeah.
I'm hoping that film will be less likely to stretch. I might be wrong. It's a complete guess. I'm hoping. I'm not saying it will, I'm just hoping. So I'm going to give that a try anyway.
I've always found screen stretch to be a problem because you take that gamble. If you've got to reprint one of the films, you should reprint all of them. But when it's 6, and you've got to reprint the films and remake the screens again,
and especially loaded it with ink.
Yeah, and it's on the press.
It's horrible.
I'll risk it for a biscuit and I'll see whether it works or not.
Especially if you've got slow setup times. Like Alex would probably do it in 10 minutes, but you know.
With his eyes shut.
While
cooking a pizza.
Brainstorming his new donut shop on a whiteboard. Hey God. Yeah. So that's made a big difference. That's gonna make a big difference. I know my screens are perfect now.
Yeah.
No hazard of breakdown unless I'm doing something wrong. And to prove it, we got the power wash full blast, held it pretty close, and just left it there, and properly tried to break that screen. It won't budge.
Good.
Which is mega. Because before his visit, I could have quite easily cleaned the screen.
Like that, and it just falls off.
Not quite like that, no, but like if I had properly power washed it, it would blast through. Yeah. That was solid. It wasn't going nowhere. Good. Yeah. And then we came to chemicals, which, again, another improvement. And he sort of did it for me without prompting. He grabbed a few screens, started scrubbing away, and went for each step with me.
Dressed in his little waistcoat and stuff and not getting any dirt on him.
No, he had a bit of overalls. Put some overalls on. Like a white lab coat.
He's always spotless, gets in and
very
sprays everything
presented.
down, and you're like, I would be covered head to toe in Aquaflex, and he's absolutely pristine.
Well, this is a weird thing. He washed my screens, came out spotless, and I ended up pissing soda in plastisol. How'd that happen? Like went around him.
Yeah. The force field.
It is, it just made my life a lot easier. Because
Did we change anything?
Well, I'll tell you what was significant. A significant lesson learnt. Less is more. So if you're using a dilutable solution, read the fucking ratios and typically stick to them. Less is more. Doubling it or adding more and more doesn't necessarily make it more effective. And this is what I found. You can over-dilute. You can not dilute enough, I guess, is the correct way to put it. Yeah. It's not always the case that if you put more emulsion stripper concentrate into your mixture, that it will do a better job. And this is what I think I was doing. I was probably not diluting enough, and where it would take, I don't know, let's just say 3 or 4 minutes of dwell time with that chemical eating the emulsion, it took like 10 seconds before you started to see it melt. It was almost instant, you started to
So
see it.
before we go any further, then just give us a quick recap of your current procedure. I think you're a dip tank guy, but I don't know what's in it.
Right, so pre-Dean
So from
visit.
press.
Right, well, do you know what? This has all been changing, so let me just cast my mind back to pre-Christmas, where I've been experimenting and changing and doing all sorts. Finish a job on press. I was always in the habit of scraping the ink out on press, on the manual. Can't do it on the auto, but on the manual, I'd always get all the ink out. Before I'd even loosen the clamps, I would get that screen immaculate of ink.
So you'd clean it on press.
Clean it on press, so I would use A7 screen wash, which actually I learned something new about that. Not typically.
A7? Sure it's
A7.
not A6?
No, it was A7. Or was it K7, sorry? Could have been K7.
Okay. From who?
Same place.
Okay. Yeah.
Same place, and it does work. But what we found out was actually it's not optimal for plastisol because it's typically more for UV inks, I think he said. UV inks.
Okay. Using a really rock hard solid one then, yeah?
Oh. So clean it on press. Now, I got into the habit of using screen openers to really get it clean.
Okay.
So if I had a job finished on that manual behind me, the screen wouldn't even come off until the mesh looked like new, because I'd use these aerosol cans.
Screen opener, yeah.
Screen
it's
opener,
really fast thinner, yeah.
Oh, it does do a great job. It just absolutely gives you a chest infection every time you use it. And I obviously rub back with your t-shirt and spray from front. Get it spotless, immaculate. So screens won't enter that room downstairs with ink. They'd be perfect. It were a case of just stripping them. And what would happen is, at that point, dip tank.
What's in your dip tank?
Now then, let me have a think. So at the time, I was using 30 PHU, and in the dip tank will have been. Let me have a think. I'm trying to remember where I got it from, because I either got it from. I think I got it from SPE. I think it was whichever SPE sells.
So stencil concentrate powder or liquid?
Or liquid.
Okay.
And
what was the mix? 1 to 10, 1 to 20, 1 to 25.
I feel like it was 1 to 25. I've got it. Just might have it on here actually. Dip and strip concentrate.
What, dip and strip? Is that a double?
Yeah.
Is it just remover?
No, 2-in-1, which I wasn't as keen on. I'd prefer to have one tank that does a single job rather than diluting both parts.
Takes ink off and takes emulsion off. So it's got
It
both.
does in theory, yeah. It did, but not the ink side of things. It wasn't super effective. You're better off just doing it before you strip it.
It's an age-old conundrum. When these two chemicals don't like each other, and if we go to an auto reclaim, we've got to keep them separate completely, because one dilutes the other, one eats the other. They're like, I describe them as two drunk cousins at a wedding. They're always going to fight and rub against each other. If you keep them separate, you stand much more chance of longevity with the chemicals. They'll last longer. So the stencil remover eats the ink remover, and the ink remover eats the stencil remover.
Yeah, I can understand the idea of mixing to take a step out of the process, but because you're diluting both steps, I think you just give yourself more work. You end up doing it twice anyway, so you might as well just strip it effectively, clean the ink effectively in the opposite order.
Now, I loved a 2-in-1. It worked really well for me, and I used a lot of chemical, but I didn't mind. And I had a process going, and it was just really, really simple. So I accepted. I accepted that it was going to work.
You accepted it were going to work?
I accepted it was going to work. It worked for me really well.
All right.
Because in my process of how I took the ink off and took the screens and had a guy just doing it all day long, would dip 3 or 4 at a time, and I was absolutely guilty of leaving it in there longer, thinking it would work better.
Yeah, less is more. I think it's a common theme when it comes to the screen room. Less is more. Something to bear in mind if if you're looking at your own procedures. Are you over putting too much chemical? And honestly, it'd be better if you're not. If it's better if you are. But if you can dial it back, you're going to save money. I mean, I was quite impressed when I got these litres of chemicals, and I looked at it and thought, that's cool. They'll last a week, like they always do. And it's an expensive job replacing your screen room. But then when he broke it down and said, look, you can dilute this 1 in 20 and it'll do a better job, you're going to save a fortune. I mean, the dehazer, that's like a year's worth of chemical in a couple of litre, because you can dilute it and get the same results or get good results out of it.
So what's the hazer then? Because I'm not keen on hazing.
Well, this is what sort of... Dehazer is almost the final step if necessary. What he sort of promoted was ink. I've got to stop doing this, it throws my camera off.
At least it doesn't do that.
Ink. Yeah.
I'm not going to do it anymore. No, don't do it anymore.
Oh, no, because it's not on your MacBook camera.
It is. No, it's not. No, you're right. No, it's before.
Tony's upgraded his camera. So it took him 2 years.
Yeah. Because that's not worth a fuck.
It can be terrible, can't it? What's baffling is I've got a 4K camera, but it only wants to film in 720. You're doing it with your phone at 1080. Maybe it's for the best. So, solvent, ink cleaner.
Yeah.
Use your ink cleaner first, then strip it, and then if there's any sort of staining, a second go with the ink cleaner should be about right. And that's how he sort of explained it to me. That would be his process. And then, worst case scenario, if you're still getting that little bit of staining that your OCD won't let you accept, move on to your dehazer. And the benefit with a dehazer is your dehazer it's got a degreaser in it as well, apparently.
It's a bleachy of. It's as close to being a bleachy sort of chemical.
Yeah, so you're cutting out a degreasing step. But you're always going to do the same number of steps. Ink, emulsion stripper, either ink again or dehazer. Oh, actually, no. Ink, emulsion. Well, let's just say ink, emulsion. It works perfect first time. Degreaser or dehazer. So there's always going to be 3 steps, ideally.
Yeah.
It's just whether you use the dehazer or the degreaser. If you've not got any staining, just use the degreaser as a straight product.
Yeah.
If you've got any stubborn stains, use the dehazer and it'll degrease it for you as well at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's what I'm getting out, didn't it?
I'll let you go with it, though. I'll let you go with it.
Oh, it just flows, doesn't it?
People used to do all 4, and dehaze, leave it overnight, and then activate that haze remover, and then.
Do you remember when I tried that? It absolutely melted all my screen frames.
Does yeah. You put it on with the coating trough. You should put it on with the coating trough. Leave it for 24 hours. Come back. You activate it with A6, some sort of screen wash, and then you blast it to death. And it's supposed to get rid of everything.
It didn't. I thought it was really ineffective. Do you know what it was? The only thing it was effective as it was destroying my frames.
Yeah, the only thing it gets rid of is time and staff.
I can't bet it does, yeah. So that was a bit of a don't bother with them. I've still got a bucket of it downstairs. It's just getting dust.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that.
It's dangerous stuff, because if it gets near your eyes, you're screwed. That's my only issue with it. We all know we should use PPE, but we don't. So it's one of them.
Amazon's here, I think.
Hello.
Hey up, mate.
Coffee time.
So down here.
Oh yeah.
So
to conclude,
chemicals. So what you end up using in what? Because that's what you were doing before, and what are you doing now? How are you cleaning your screens before they get to your screen room?
I didn't fully finish that. What was I doing before? Right, cleaning the crap out of my screens on press.
Yeah.
running them downstairs, chucking them in a dip tank, which was full of dip and strip, which would remove sarty PHU really well.
Mm.
And as you remember, I was a stickler for a minute, nothing longer, and that worked perfectly. Just enough to soften it, not enough for it to start diluting the solution, and that worked for me. I barely had to change that chemical for a long time, so it did a really good job at that actually. Then obviously you power wash it, and then if there was any staining or anything like that, I used to use the pink stuff from CCI, which I absolutely loved. It was a great little
That's a degreaser as well. Is that degreaser?
It's a 2-in-1. I think they sort of market it as more of a degreaser than anything.
Yeah.
But it gets rid of stains, and it did a great job. It was fantastic, but of course you can't get it anymore
Because
you dick. we are getting sued at one day. One day. Oh dear. So yeah, we can't get that anymore. So I switched to a different product, which is the SR40 or something, which again is a CCI product, I think. Is it? Hang on. Tell you.
SR40.
Hang on.
Solvent resistant.
For 40-year-olds. Cleaning and reclamation. The pink stuff sold out, shock. Not ER80.
That's emulsion remover.
LSR30. So basically not even close to what I actually said in first place. LSR30.
Okay.
Now I'd use that, I'd put a bit of that on a magic sponge, I'd scrub both sides, it'd start to smoke, and me stains would wash out pretty well. And that was my process.
Okay.
It was alright. It wasn't a bad little process.
Time consuming. What do you think you could do an hour?
It's hard to say because I didn't do it. Jack probably did 50, 60 screens in 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
Not mega, but doable. But it was always a bit awkward because Jack would have to come after work and would be here till like 11 o'clock, which I've sort of passed now. We did it for a few months, but I just can't do those nights. I'm all for being committed and enthusiastic and entrepreneurial, but
only 9 to 5. Only through banking hours.
So yeah, that was an alright process. But it was such a mismatch of chemicals and processes and stuff that were coming from all over the shop. And Christmas came around, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to do it myself because I want to look at the process. I want to see if it can be improved and done better, and speed it up.
And you've got no friends.
I've got no friends, so I've got time to do it, and I really. So that's where Dean came in, and he helped me sort.
Okay, so what's majorly changed then, other than your exposure times, because you've dialed them in now, but only plus or minus 10 seconds, so you weren't miles out. So
no,
what
miles.
What about your cleaning process? I'll tell you why I'm interested. The job I've just come from is my 3rd visit, and it's screens, and which is what I've told them time and time again, but it still comes back to screens. It's not a place you can cut corners. So, what's your process now?
Right, so the new process will be screens go downstairs, they might be covered in ink and stuff like that. Tape off, excess ink carded out or scraped out with a palette knife or whatever. Then be using my ink remover solvent, which will be... I took a video of this, so let me tell you.
The 2 main types of solvent normally, emulsifiable and non-emulsifiable.
Do you want another name?
Yeah.
Aquawash 829.
Okay, so it's emulsifiable.
Right.
So
It's diluted.
I'll let you continue. Yeah, it's basically dilutable, but it
Dilutable.
also it becomes an emulsion when you put it down the drain. So
Yes, that's right.
it breaks. It doesn't separate like oil and water should do.
He did
Because
explain
it
something like that.
is a solvent, but it's a surfactant solvent, so it mixes with the water and stays mixed until it goes out and disappears. So it's a good environmentally safe one.
Yeah, so one thing he sort of pointed out was there's no hazard labels on the bottle, which is obviously, if you're into that type of thing, a good thing.
I think the brand name's Alchemy, which used to be CPS, which is still McDermid Autotype.
I think, yeah, McDermid, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Aqua Wash 829. We've got it in a bucket, diluted, and a brush.
Okay, and what are you diluting it to?
1 to 3. 1 part Aqua Wash 829, 3 part water.
Okay, so that's going to go a long way then, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I've got a litre. Oh, no, sorry, I've got 5 litre tub. I will do quite a few screens, won't it?
Not in a spray bottle, in a dip brush.
In a dip brush, which might find its way back into a spray bottle.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah,
I think I can keep it organised.
You don't waste as much.
Yeah, in a bucket,
you dip in and like that, you lose some down drain. So
you do, don't you? Yeah,
exactly like that. For anybody listening on Spotify.
So yeah, that strips me ink out, and actually, I'm really impressed with how easily it turns that ink into a liquid that runs off. It does a really good job. Just on the initial hit, it's almost instant as well. Probably again because of the dilution. Less is more. I'm so shocked by that little obvious bit of common sense, but the dilution does make it a more effective product. So it's something to not skip or overlook. So yeah, first job.
I'm guilty of using it raw.
Oh yeah, well I do. Always raw. There's a joke there, but I can't
I'm not even going to pick
the words.
You can check it. I saw you drop it and I thought, I'm leaving it on the floor.
We'll have to change my nickname to Raw Dog.
Too far. Too far.
And then stripper. Now then, what emulsion stripper am I using? Where's my video?
Did you go for Destiny or Chesterton?
Destiny or Chester? You have to explain this to me.
Two stripper names.
Right. Oh, right, I get you. Diamond. Do you know what? Flipping covered me. Hang on. This is going to be a go to website type of job. It's only mate. Pyramid PR, this, isn't it? We're not even sponsored by them.
Yet.
I asked them. Stencil cleaning. Oh god, this is confusing. Stencil remover.
Okay.
Gel? It was a liquid.
Okay.
Stencil. Oh god, it's confusing.
Wish I hadn't found this bag of M&Ms.
We'll be done later soon.
Can't stop eating them.
Well, we've got 4 on there. It's one of them. Can't remember.
One's a gel. One's a liquid.
It's not the gel. It's a liquid. It's an alchemy product. And I believe it's diluted 1 in 5. This particular one. And it's not necessarily going with the recommendations on the bottle. This was just more of a Dean's experience. Go 1 to 5.
1 in 5 is quite strong.
Well, plus Aqua is quite a durable, because it's a durable water-based emulsion. It does take about. I think it does take a stronger chemical to.
Yeah.
It's the playoff. It's the playoff. What do you want? Do you want something that's easy to strip that might break down with water-based? A lot of water-based use. Or do you want
only really 10% of what you do is water-based, isn't it?
Well, it's typically one screen.
1 out of 6 normally, yeah. I can't work out that maths in my head. So I just went for 10%. It was easier.
Close enough. I just go for me, I tend to go for the highest water resistance because I know the plastisols load up anyway, typically.
Mm.
I believe you can get some water-based, water-resistant emulsions that don't like solvent inks and maybe potentially the old-style plastisols.
Yeah.
But I don't think the newer plastisols typically are that harsh on it. So if it'll load up with Aquaflex, it'll load up with a plastisol.
Yeah.
In my experience.
So you dip it in there. How long for?
No, I'm not dipping anymore. It's a
Why?
bucket and a brush job, but it'll be a spray bottle and a brush job. And again, that just seemed to work instantly. What would be spray, scrub, leave for 3 or 4 minutes. You could see it melting almost straight away. You know, with a couple of brush strokes. By the time you flipped it over, it's already made it. Started to. But this again, that's chemical, but it could also play back to proper exposure, because having proper exposure will make a difference in cleaning, reclaiming screens. If it's not exposed enough, you might find it harder to wash, reclaim.
And that's hard for some people to understand.
Because it's very counter the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd think that the more light you give it, the harder it gets. So to make it easy, you'd underexpose it, and it doesn't work like that. It goes to like chewing gum. If you've got an auto reclaim unit, you'll open up the inside of it. You'll see it's like chewing gum in there. It's usually underexposed.
Yeah, that's a good little sign. So that's that job stripped. Now, like I said before, 2 options now.
How are you getting your ink off?
Off. Brush.
So are you inking it off before you strip it then?
Yeah. Take my screen downstairs. Why do I keep saying downstairs? Take my screen into other room, which is
reclaim room, reclaim department.
Transfer the used screen to the reclaim department. All the tape off. Card any excess ink. So basically, the bulk of the ink's gone, and then ink remover, brush, back and forth. Then power wash, then emulsion stripper, brush, power wash. Then I'm at the last step, which is either going to be, if there's any staining, dehaze. If it's clean, degrease. And again, it's all going to be spray bottles and brushes. I think that's going to be the effective method for me. Dip tanks are no longer in equation.
Okay.
Just simple, free chemicals, simple spray bottles, simple brushes. Jobs are good, pretty much.
Good.
The only use of a dip tank now is going to be for developing.
Yeah. So I just come from a place, and that's how I left them. And when I've gone back this time, the dip tank's back up and running.
It is.
And the reason I closed the dip tank off last time was nobody knew what the hell were in it.
So what's in it?
We don't know. And they just throw some stencil remover in when it stopped working. Which stencil remover? Whichever was cheapest. And so I sealed it off. So right, stop using that. Here's a spray bottle with exactly 1 to 25 stencil remover.
Yep.
Here's a spray bottle with exactly emulsifiable screen wash. Yep. And here's a spray bottle with degreaser. And that's way over there in the clean bit. So we did actually have a dirty bit and a clean bit. 2 wash out booths. So
yeah, cool.
It works. And when I've got back, they've reinstalled the dip tank.
Old habits.
And when I asked the question, what's in the dip tank? Nobody knew. So what do you mean? So, well, is it all in one dip and strip? Or is it just stencil remover? We don't know. Well, it's a water-based shop, so nothing goes through there with ink on it anyway. Because they have a washout booth at the side of the press for water-based.
Yeah, I like that. That's a cool idea.
That was one of my recommendations very early on in my first visit. And it does actually make me feel a little bit warm inside. That
it's been carried out.
They do it, yeah. There are a couple of things about this place which really sort of stuck in me. Number one was the wash booth at the side of the press, which is in my first report. I said, look, the screens are stacking up. Nobody's doing anything with them. It's water-based ink. They might not get stripped for 3 days, and they've got all that ink on them. And then they won't come clean.
Yeah.
Another one was, believe it or not, nail varnish.
Really? For pinholes?
For pinholes on press. Nail varnish for pinholes on press. It's been used for years. It works just a treat.
It does, but it's a plaster, isn't it?
It is a plaster, yeah, but they had a myriad of problems before it got to press. But it were a good quick fix.
Yeah.
And the other one was like a GOTS station, so they got GOTS approval. And
yeah, I like that.
When you had GOTS approval, you've got to keep everything separate, clean, and organised. Now, I can honestly say, hand on heart, it wasn't clean and organised. It was a production mess. And this time when I've gone, I'm like, it jumped out at me straight away. I went, wow, who's done that? Yeah, the GOTS is mine now, so I look after it. Nobody's allowed to touch it. I went, oh, superb. That's how you get your certification. That's how you keep it, keeping cross-contamination to a minimum, which is just housekeeping.
Oh, yeah, a lot of it can be broken down to
just housekeeping.
Organisation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like if you've got the space, almost a strip down station near the press.
Yeah.
So you do have your reclaim room and your washout room and your chemicals and all that stuff, but just off to the side at press, not too close. A little stainless steel area where you can de-tape, scrape off your excess. Maybe your ink pots live there, just to keep it a little bit separate. And I like that. I don't really have room to do it effectively.
No, it works.
That's my preference.
I often say, you'll get an owner complaining that the place is a mess, and there's not one single table where you can clean up a screen.
Yeah, that's...
You're like, hang on. Every single job, every single screen that you use, every hour of every day has to be cleaned. So don't make them clean them on end at dryer with an old T-shirt. Make a station. Make a cleaning area. Buy the blue roll. We lose money on blue roll. If you're losing money on blue roll, you're in the wrong game. It's part of the process.
Bit necessary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if you're like me, just mess up a load of prints and have a bucket full of scrap T-shirts.
And then cut them up into squares.
Yeah.
We used to use them big bandsaw things that cut them up into squares.
Oh, God.
Then that goes
dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I was trying to do a squeegee blade on a miter saw, like an electric spinning one. Fuck me, and it took my eye out because it kicks it. It wants to kick it.
It grabs it, yeah.
Whew, God, how dangerous. I mean, I've been guilty in the past of balancing my screen across two print pallets, which I would never do on the MHR.
No, you put
on the manual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't even dream of that now. So I like a little clean station.
You need it. It's not like you're only going to use it once a week. You're going to use it on every job. Every single job that goes through needs cleaning. Yeah. So you need an area to clean with.
Yeah. Oh. So that's a little bit bad. Sorry, it's readjusting. I'm on that broken stool. It's really uncomfortable.
You've still not bought one yet?
No, a bit tight. It's
Can't afford it.
Well, I've just bought an MHM, haven't I?
From?
MHM Direct GB UK Limited PLC company. They're actually really good at selling screen and digital equipment. Quite good at it, actually.
All right, okay. You done?
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
So that sort of leads in a little bit to organisation and processes. In fact, actually, no, sorry. Have we any more stories from your visit? In fact, actually, let me not override this episode. Where you been, Tony?
Oh, thanks for asking. Thought you never would.
Had Christmas, didn't we? We had Christmas. We had a little bit of a break, and I can see that you've been out and about in various shops. So why don't you do a bit of talking for a little bit?
Back out and about. So first visit.
Have a sip of lilt.
First visit was to a guy who I knew about 5 years ago. Knew he'd got a press. Didn't really hear from him. Hear now and again from him online, but I knew he was going more towards digital. A lot of print on demand. Yeah, and a lot of
What a guy.
wait, who?
Red Bull shirt.
Yeah,
Ah,
we don't talk about Red Bull.
what a guy.
So he got in touch saying that the print on demand is still going well, but also when the numbers go, he wants to fire up the print machines again. So I got down there and we started to go through a few things, and the one thing that really crept up in every sort of like 3 to 4 minutes was, on your podcast you say this, and on your podcast you say this. Well, I've been listening to you, and in episode 7 you said that he sat and binged the whole series before I came down.
Bloody hell.
And not only binged it, but actually stored everything we were saying. And you look around, and he's done some tips from you, he's done some tips from me, and he's sort of like, yeah, invaluable. Love it. Listen to it all the time.
Wow.
Now. So, big shout out to
Isn't
Mike.
that heartwarming? Yeah, Mike.
It was, yeah. It was. I mean, the fact he's a Red Bull supporter, you know, it's one bad mark against him, but he's got a couple of good ones on him, so...
He's my favourite listener.
Not now,
No, he is.
So I went down there. That's all the way down in Dorset and Weymouth, which is about
That's a
as far,
seaside area, isn't it?
that's about as far south as you can go without getting your feet wet and speaking French. Yeah,
Never, yeah.
it were a long way, 5-hour journey. So that was good. So we kicked off some good stuff there, going through screens and squeegees and all sorts of basic stuff. Did a couple of good jobs. We went through cleaning the screens. We went through all the things that we normally go through. So that was good. That was a really good, successful visit. And now, new friend of the show. Then, sure, I did another one. Where did I go?
One that likes to paint the press with ink.
So, yeah, that's where I've just come back from yesterday. But I thought I did another one in the meantime. But yeah, that's the one with the dip tank that I was telling you about. So, while trying to be as nice as possible with this place, they do fall into the trap that a lot of production places fall into. And I say it's like the guy on the top of the hill with a single shotgun, loading it up, shooting, loading it up, shooting. There's a tap on the shoulder and he says, "Not now, I'm busy." And the guy tapping him on the shoulder's got a machine gun. It's that similar sort of thing. They're so busy in production that they don't have time to do things correctly. And
I can totally sympathise with that.
It screams. So if we took a very, very small thing, right, and we expanded it forever, this is a good example of what happens. Right, you stood there, you've got to have a screen, and you're cleaning it, and you're printing, let's say you're printing bags, which are a maximum 25 centimetre by 25 centimetre area. And you've got a 50 centimetre area in your screen.
I know what's coming here.
So you're stripping your screen, and in the top right-hand corner, on the edge of the coating trough has been a bit heavy and dripped, and that bit hasn't come off. It needs a bit more work. So you need to really go back and either dip it again or spray it, scrub it, and wait for the chemical to eat that hardened big lump of emulsion.
Yeah.
But you don't, because you think, it's up in that top corner, I don't use it, I'm only interested in this bit here, so just this once, because I'm under pressure, I'll leave it. I'll get it next time. Next time comes along, and you're still under that pressure, you've still got that big blob in that corner, now you've got another one in the other corner. Now you really haven't got time to get them both, so you leave them both. Now we sort of like use Charles Darwin's evolution, and we just go on and on and on and on. And by the time I get there, there's just a 25 centimetre square in the middle of the screen where that's where the image goes. Everything else around it has been left. And I don't know whether you know with stencil remover, if you put stencil remover on something and then let it dry, it oxidizes. Once it oxidizes, it becomes a hardener.
Yeah.
Once it's hardened, you're not getting it off.
Not unit mesh.
It makes it solid. It's locked into the mesh. And when that's happened 3 or 4 times in the corner, your workable area's coming in. And now the screens, I was there 8 months ago, and the screens that were stretched from our mate Chris at Screen Machine, They look like they've been in there for 30 years. And they're less than 10 months old. And to make this point, there's another company where our mate John used to work, very close to where our mate John lives is where I was.
Right.
And he used to work at this firm, and they are no longer doing screen print. So they let this firm where I was have some old screens. I don't know,
Right.
bought them, sold them, gave them, I don't know. But they're not printing anymore, so they're no use to them. So they let them have their old screens. And we picked one of their old screens, and I met Chris at Screen Machine. He writes the date on when he makes them. So I knew that the yellow glue from Chris, Screen Machine on it, place where it was, and the date was 10 months, and the screen looked shit. We picked one up from the shop down the road that's got rid of all their old screens. The date was 2012, and the screen was spotless.
So what? So they've just not been using that one?
Spotless. No, they've been using it for 12 years. But they clean it properly.
So they can do it, but the ones that have gained
it's one they bought. One they bought from another place was 12 years old, and it looked cleaner than the one that they've got and that they've been using for the last 10 months.
Oh, so they've not used these bought screens yet?
No. Well, they've stripped them once. So they've come with designs on. They've stripped them, and it was one that I was showing them how to strip properly. So we do this, and we time it for 60 seconds. We do this. We were dip tanking with stencil remover. There was no ink on the screen, so it came to us clean. We put the stencil remover on, 60 seconds in there, into there, stripped, and it just fell off, and we were left with what might have been a virgin screen. It was spotless. And we looked at the date in the corner, and this screen is 12 years old. And I know for a fact...
Oh, fuck's sake. I just counted that on my fingers. And I'm just about to say...
Did you take your shoes and socks off to get them extra too? So, it just goes to prove that the other company were doing it properly. They were doing everything they could. And it means that if you look after your screens, they're going to last a long time. As it is, by not looking after them, by thinking that you're saving time by cutting the corners, now that screen's going to have to be restretched again. It's only 10 months old, and it's going to have to be restretched again in the next 2 months. We'll run out a workable space.
Yeah, those drips that turn into lumps. Fix the problem first. You shouldn't be getting drips. You need to sort out your coating. But
the coating trough looked like it had been thrown around car park, and it looked like a piece of old guttering. And I'm like, okay, we need to buy a new coating trough. So we goes online, we goes to Pyramid, believe it or not.
Turn it to Illuminati, isn't it?
I know, yeah, it looks a bit bad, doesn't it?
People start accusing us of being...
Well,
yeah, I'm going to say, start calling us lizards.
So we're like, okay, let's get a new coating trough. I don't know what size to get. Okay, let's do some measuring. Worked it out. Get all this. We'll get Chris to run the glue in, so we don't have to use tape anymore. So 100% water-based shop. Right, okay, so 18-inch trough. How much is it? How much do you think it is? How much do you think they were saving by not buying it?
Oh, an 18-inch trough, 60 quid, I guess.
23 quid.
Yeah, for some cheaper ones.
23
like a typical
quid.
Silver one.
Yeah. So I'm like, you've pissed about for 2 years with this old dinted trough that leaks down the edges, which gives you hard time, leaves a dink all the way down, which is a weak spot on water-based ink. It's going to leak every time.
30 odd,
to save 23 quid. It's just not worth it.
I mean, as soon as
False
you get
economy.
one of them lumps, yeah, that's baffling, is that? That's very baffling.
Well, again, if you do get them lumps, you know when you're cutting your squeegees down and you get that little bit of inch of squeegee left, just keep that at the side of your coating trough. When you've done your coating, while the emulsion's
just
still
smooth it
wet,
off.
Just flatten it off.
I have a packet of baby wipes sat next to me. Every time I coat screen, if I just so happen to you sometimes get a line at the top. Do you know where you've tuck it off?
You don't do your jiggle,
Yeah, when you don't do your little shuffle up. And I just baby wipe it off. Just don't leave any like thickness on your edges because it's a pain to come off, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the next time you coat a coat, your coat is going over that bump. So you're amplifying it. It's getting bigger every time. The more you coat it, the bigger it's going to get. Before you know it, you've got a fucking mountain at the end of your screen. Yeah, it's silly. You can't cut corners on screens. It's the most important part of the entire process. And it's not a rock hard thing to get right, is it? We've been talking about getting chemicals and stuff like that, but we're only tweaking. I'm only trying to be more efficient. But coating the screen is quite simple. At the very least, bare minimum, get something to hold your screen in place. Use 2 hands, nice and slow. Whether you do a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1 or whatever. I think you've got your recommended and quite a lot of different shops do it different.
I like 2-to-1 below a 62 mesh and 1-on-1 above a 62 mesh.
Right.
And for me, it's 5 elephants from top to bottom. Minimum.
Yeah, the elephant.
Minimum 5 elephants. You start at the bottom. Elephant 1, elephant 2, elephant 3, elephant 4, elephant 5. That's it. For me, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The main issue with this last visit, I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying to be a little
it's
bit
a tricky, isn't it?
because I don't.
Yeah.
They're not. Yeah, they're doing something wrong, but everybody does something wrong. Nobody does everything right in the first place. So,
we could do a whole fucking series on my shop if you want. If we want to even it out, everything I do wrong.
Well, the main issue, it wasn't the technique, because I wrote a standard operating procedure, which I don't normally do, if I'm honest. You've seen standard operating procedures. It basically would give somebody who walks in off the street the ability to be able to perform a task just by reading the instructions step by step. Nice
step by step. Yeah. Idiot's guide.
I don't like that phrase, but I much prefer a simplified guide. Because, I think I had to do this at school back in the day when we had chalk and tablets. And it was basically a standard operating procedure for making a cup of tea. And I wrote mine, I thought it was really good, but what I'd forgotten to do was turn on the kettle.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you do the point where you get the water out the kettle, you pour it in there, you do that, and tea's cold. What?
Yeah.
Well, you never wrote turn on the kettle. Was it obvious? No. You've got to write every step down. So,
yeah, I get that.
The main problem at this place is it was nobody's job to do the screens. 2 pressers, running a high production, staff's always at a minimum, and it's never somebody's job to do the screens. It's whoever's not busy or the demand is high, go make me a couple of screens. Be back in 5 minutes. Because nobody took ownership of the screens, this is why we saw that slow degrading. Number one, the chemicals. Nobody takes ownership of it, so it's somebody. The screens aren't cleaning. All right, I'll throw some stuff in. Nobody asked what it was, what the ratio was, when it was last done. No mark on the wall as to how clean and good this process is. So the first thing I did was, right, okay, it's now your job to make all the screens. And the production manager says, we're going to make between 10 and 12 a day. I don't think I can spare him to only make 10 to 12 screens a day. I was like, well, okay, this job here that's running is made it on a 43 and it really should be a 62 or a 77. So let's go replace it right now so we can have a new screen back on press in about 7 to 8 minutes if we really get some air on it and dry it. Okay, we go to the screen room, not one coat of screen ready. So now it's going to take 3 to 4 hours to take a screen, a 77 that we need, strip it, dry it, coat it, dry it, image it, dry it, and then back onto press.
It's
and what we're going to do,
the drying time between that.
What we'll do is cheap. We'll use extra heat. That'll dry it quicker.
We'll run it through to dry.
You've seen it.
Yeah,
We're run through the
we're laughing, but this is where it comes from.
It happens. Yeah, there's a pressure. There's 1,500 bags to print, and the guy's picking them up at 3 o'clock, and it's now 1:30. I need a screen now. I've only got this one that's crap. Just clean that middle bit out.
Yeah,
you see how it happens.
Of course,
it does happen.
I can sympathise with it 1,000%. I mean, I would never do this, but we would exposing screens. Said, it'd be a little bit easier to run it through a microscope if it were dry. I got a heat gun out. I heated it dry. I'd never do that in a million years, but because I needed it done in 5 or 10 minutes, so I sort of did it. It wasn't a screen I was going to use or anything, but you know what I mean? You can you find ways around to speed things up, don't you? That are sometimes a little bit naughty. But step by step, like you say, not the idiot's guide, but standard operating procedures, just break everything down into steps and the drying of the screens, etc., and turning them into routine. And I think if I had the luxury of having a dedicated screen person, I'd jump on it because it's the most important thing. The best thing in the world for me is to get into work on a morning and all my screens are ready for me to just get printing. That's perfect for me. I can achieve so much.
It's so time consuming to try and make one screen.
Yeah.
From start to finish. That's what I said. How long is it going to take you to do a screen? If we let it dry properly, we don't rush it. We got it to about 3 hours. Right, okay. How long is it going to take you to do 5 screens? Same 3 hours. Okay, 10 screens. Probably about the same 3 hours because while that one's drying, I'm cleaning this one, and they're going through the process. They only want to be in the dryer for 30 minutes at 40 degrees, and then they're done.
Yeah.
So once I get that cycle going and that stock going, so what we had was, okay, whatever screens you use today, if somebody comes across and steals 6 screens, your first job in the morning is to replace the stock with those 6 screens. Then the rest of the day is your own. If you don't make any screens that day, fine. But you know your stock is stuck at 25 screens ready to go. A library of coated screens is essential in our business.
Yeah, I think so. It does lead on quite nicely into my mindset at the moment and the things that I'm working towards, and routine and routines and patterns and designated days for certain tasks. Being a one-man band type of thing, this is where I have to work. Like I say, if I had somebody who could work full-time in screen room, designated to that one job, that would be better. And that's probably something I will start to work towards now. As maybe we talked about having what's the next big goal, and I think it could potentially be going in that direction where I have help and I have designated help for certain parts of the business to free me up to do all the bits that I'm good at.
I think you've needed professional help for a while.
Trying it. We didn't get very far.
Now they're in therapy.
Back it in. Can't do this shit. Oh, you've proper thrown me off now. What was I saying?
Procedures and setting things down and maybe getting staff. So we'll throw off on a little tangent because we haven't been on a tangent for a while.
Have a shot of lilt.
Yeah, we'll go on a tangent of. You've had the press a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed an increase in your available production?
Nope. Not yet.
Just give me a short answer if you want.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Only because you were talking about maybe getting some other staff in. So if you're getting other staff, is that because you've got more work and you feel like you can afford to, or do you feel like you are going to get more work?
Oh yeah, well, a bit of both. A little bit. The sort of thought about staff, etc., is a little bit how I've been this past week or so, coming back from Christmas, where I sort of come into work and right, what have I got to do today? And then I'm all over the place. I'm doing screens, or I'm doing emails, or I'm printing a job, or somebody walks in, or Dean comes round, or shit, this person wants to call me now. All these different things. I'm pulled here, there, and everywhere, even now. And I thought that would all magically disappear. Now I know getting an auto would help with production, and it absolutely will. Let's not forget, I've basically been on a 1 month learning curve.
Yeah.
So the actual potentials, even though I will be at a limited potential, the full potential of what I can get right now, I've still not seen it yet. But that'll come. But I think in a way it's sort of been a bit of a wake-up call as well to say there's a lot that I can do before I even touch a press. And I think so a lot of it's in here. Having lists, having routines, having set days for set tasks, not just answering emails on fly. Open emails popped up, drop this, go do your emails. So this past couple of days, I've been sort of really trying to shake things up a little bit. Instead
More
of coming in
structure,
on
bit more organisation and structure.
I think structure is the best way to talk about, the best phrase for it. I mean, even I'll get in. Typically, I'll wake up and I'll come to work whenever I feel like it. Not whenever I feel like it, just whenever I wake up. Which is, it's not crack of dawn or it's early
Over
enough.
Christmas, it's been about 11 o'clock.
Over Christmas, but that doesn't count.
Just moving
typically
Quality
it's
Street wrappers out of the way and roses and wading through all empty beer bottles and going, right, okay, this year we're starting it this year.
We're on it now. I mean, it was all. I was here for like 8 o'clock or something on most days, most mornings. And then I come in and I sit on my computer and then I'll answer any emails. And there'll be times where I'm like, it's 12:30. It's 1:30. It's 2 o'clock.
I was only if
Still
you're on
sat here.
TikTok. I was only if you're on TikTok doing your dances.
No, I honestly, I'm not a procrastinator. I don't just get distracted by whatever,
I do.
Instagram or anything like that.
Pretty butterfly. I'm off.
Well, I've had this thought. We're doing that tangent thing again, aren't we? I've had this thought. I wonder if I've got a little bit of a attention problem. And I find
Just because it's fashionable now to be ADHD, you
Oh,
don't have to do it.
I'm not going down there, but I like washing screens. And I've only found this because I've been doing it recently. Obviously, I've been doing it since Christmas. I watch about 10 screens. I'm like, I've had enough of this. I want to go do something else.
I'm done.
And I'll find any excuse to go answer some emails or something. But it'll be, but you've got to get over it, haven't you?
I think that's just normal, if I'm honest.
I've been changing it up. Now, one thing I'm trying to do is do my emails in the afternoon. So get in and print. Not get in, sit on your laptop, have some breakfast, answer some emails where you're doing this and that. Oh, I could do with printing these films today, actually. Let's just do that. Etc., etc., etc. Before you know it, it's 2 o'clock. All right, I better go do some printing.
There's a phrase. There's a phrase that sits here, and I've been trying to think of it, and I haven't Googled it. And
Stop eating those M&Ms and give your fucking brain a break, and you might clear some space up.
I relate it to going to gym. Okay, you should go to gym at 6 o'clock in the morning when you wake up.
I won't know what about that, to be fair.
Get it done, and then don't think about it. I've got certain running tasks that I've got to perform, and I know what I've got to do today. And if I don't do it now, I've got to do it at some point. So if it gets to lunchtime, I think I'll do it at lunchtime. If it gets to tea time, I think I'll do it at tea time. Then it gets to evening time, you're like, oh, I never did it. And I think the phrase, you'll have to explain, maybe you've heard the phrase, it's swallow the frog first.
No.
Something about swallowing a frog. Basically, it's whatever the nasty task is, do that first.
Do the hardest task first.
Do the nastiest thing. Kiss the frog, swallow the frog, whatever it is. It's something... I don't know why it's frog related, but it's something to do with
overcoming the hardest task
grabbing
first.
that first task that you don't want to do and get it out of the way. It's still there all day, and if you don't get it out of the way, it just plays with your brain all the time.
Yes, so
I'll have to Google swallow the frog. I can't work out whether I've got fireworks going off or whether All Out Wars broke out.
I thought you were just tapping your microphone.
No, it's either fireworks or shooting. Considering there was a viral video 3 days ago about 2 guys stabbing a car and stuff outside Wakefield.
Well,
I know, yeah. Shaky wakey.
Good old shaky wakey. Sorry, mate.
Could be out.
Could be out. So that routine, that new. So I have been mixing it up a little bit, trying to be a little bit more disciplined. Now, I'm not a lazy person. I'm not a.
Right, we're going to have to just stop there 2 seconds.
Oh, someone actually has been stabbed.
No. I knew it might happen.
Oh, somebody ringing?
Battery low.
Oh, God.
Can you plug it in? Yeah, I plugged it in. It wasn't plugged in. Now then, will it still work that way up? Oh,
seems all right.
God, I love this technology, haven't you?
I just got a new phone, actually. Not even opened it.
You have?
Yeah.
What, an iPhone? What did you get?
iPhone 15. Oh, wait.
Check you out.
iPhone 15. £30 a month.
That's not in the same place. It's going to annoy me.
Well, yeah, that's a good angle.
Don't be a dick.
Can't help it, mate. It's just ingrained at this point.
How my cable won't reach to where it was before.
I'll tell you what, I'll go for a wee then.
You go for a wee. I can spout any old shit I want now, can't I? Because you're going to cut this bit out.
There we go. Are you happy now? You're back to...
Yeah. And cut.
Oh,
Yeah.
like it never happened.
Like it never happened, yeah.
What we're saying?
I can't remember.
Routine? Routine, no pattern. So, my new routine starts as thus. It actually starts the day before. So, end of the day, I get on my phone and I write a list of jobs that I need to do starting from the morning. And not only that, I am now time stamping them. So, crack of dawn, wake up 6:30, I shower. That's part of my routine.
Dick.
Get into work, 7 a.m. till 9, or whatever it is. Today was... Fuck me, I'm out of breath. Could have given me a minute after that piss.
Tell me you're not used to lifting heavy stuff.
Well, that's all lifters do. No cardio. Don't ask them to walk upstairs.
No, walking
I
them
can pick
downstairs
out heavy
is
up.
no
But... so Thursday, which is today,
Thursday, yeah.
I shower at 6:30 a.m. 7 a.m. till 8 a.m. coat screens. 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. learn from emulsion expert.
Okay.
12 till 2 p.m. answer emails. 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. record Chippy Tea.
You haven't done any printing yet?
8 p.m. till 10 p.m. edit/upload Chippy Tea.
All right, okay.
Yeah, today's been a write-off.
It's a complete write-off.
Print
You've
wise.
actually done any printing.
But that just gives you an idea. I've planned my day out, and actually I've done it perfect. It's the first time I've ever done that.
Does it work?
Perfect. Everyone ticked off. The timings have been accurate. Spot on.
Do you think, if we come back in February, you'll still be doing that?
You know, I'm going to bloody try. Try, because I think it'll make my life a lot easier.
Yeah, we'll do, yeah.
But you'll notice
yeah.
emails in particular, sort of middle afternoon. Get some big jobs out of the way. So tomorrow it'll be prints. Tomorrow will be print some jobs off. And then maybe 2, 3 o'clock, I'll sit and do a couple hours of emails.
Then you find out that Chippy Tea aren't uploaded. We've got to redo it all again tomorrow.
Well, if that happens, it'll be a Monday episode.
Yeah, it will. Well, next week I'm offshore again next week, so we've got to try and...
You have to work on the old oil rigs again,
yeah. Again, yeah. So it'll be America. Next week is Long Beach.
Oh, that'll be a good episode. We always enjoy a Long Beach episode, or one of them that we've ever done.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so don't be going out at the weekend. Sit outside of your phone waiting for me to ring in the afternoon.
All right. Yeah, sorry.
You go out in the morning, but not in the afternoon.
Got house viewings.
Ooh, all grown up stuff.
I know. Caught my first pike last week. Did I tell you?
What's a pike?
Fish.
All right, okay.
Pike. Like a fucking mini alligator. Got teeth and everything.
I don't get fishing because you're going to spend all that time catching it and then you're going to look at it, take a picture and throw it back in.
Oh, yeah, because you have to put it back quick. You don't want to hurt it, do you? So take a picture, get it back.
I don't get it.
Got to look after it.
No, it's not for me, fishing. I don't have patience for it. And if I'm going to spend 6 hours trying to catch something, I want to eat it.
God. Yeah, I'm all right. with that. Right, let's go back to screen printing before we go on a tangent about pike fishing. Where can we go to? Where can we?
So I also did another visit. So that wasn't my only visit.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Went to a place. I'll have to look back at me numbers, but I'm pretty sure this was my number 1 visit as a consultant.
Oh, your very first one.
If not the first, it's within the first three.
Right.
As a sort of professional paid consultant. It's a place in Birmingham. Been in touch with a guy a couple of times with issues that he's had with dye migration and with quality of print, let's say. And it's another good example of giving ownership to the screen room. Because again, we come back to screens. It's pretty much a stencil-based issue, this.
Yeah, they always does, isn't it?
The screen room had been neglected. The chemicals, we didn't know what they were. Two different kinds of emulsion from different people. And I found out that the lady that I trained had actually gone away to have a baby. And so when she'd gone, nobody really took ownership of the screen department. It got thrown around again. And we had a bit of skill dilution.
Because you're...
where, why are we using this? Because the previous manager said so. Well, why did the previous manager said so? Because they said so. And it just goes back and back and back. So we didn't really know why we were using these chemicals. We're using a chemical for graphics printing. And it was a plastisol place, so it was sure, it was hard as nails. We were a really sort of tough, old-fashioned emulsion from Photocoat, which I think is sold by Colenso in England. And we're at 4.5 minutes exposure on a Starlight.
But it's absolutely bulletproof. Yeah,
but they're only using plastisol, and the runs are below like 150.
Stick Sation.
Yeah. And they've got a reclaim unit, little eco wash, M&R eco wash unit. Mm-hmm. Have you seen them? No. So basically, it's a washout booth and an enclosed spray booth.
I think I might have done, yeah.
And so you put your all-in-one chemical in, usually, load your screen in, slide it in, and close the door, and it does all its shit. And then you come out and you give it a final finish with a rinser. They're not bad, actually. They're okay for what they are. Quite small, but okay.
Yeah.
So I got a text message. My phone's just going boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what? And I can't concentrate on one thing at a time. So yeah, that was good because it was. Now this lady's come back. She's again, the first thing she's done is take ownership of the stencil room. And one of her very first jobs, which is the most mundane thing in the world, was cleaning the floor.
Oh no!
Because she thought, when I left, it was spotless, and a clean floor meant that
that brings me on to something.
Everything else was clean, and the units were clean, and it was all organised, and I knew where my screens were. And this place is, it's a little bit. The guy, I think it's the guy's dad that owns it, is what you call a classic wood butcher.
Right.
Or carpenter. Everything's made from wood. Everything.
Oh, right.
So the screen racks were all wood. The shelves were all wood, and everything was hand built from wood. It was, everything was. I
like it.
Yeah, I quite like it as well. Actually, there's a lot
not
to
ideal
be said.
for screen room, but.
And then put alu panel, dye bond.
Yeah. Use it for making signs.
Yeah, for making signs. Ali panel on front of it to keep it dry. Works a treat. Not wrong with that. Nice and clean. And so it was good to go back there and get the screens and the stencil room sorted. From there, we looked at the press techniques, and luckily, it would just been moved from downstairs to upstairs. And when we moved it upstairs, everything's spotlessly clean. So now it's a good chance to keep it clean. And again, we go back to housekeeping. We go back to the little tiny corners that we don't cut. And it means that we can keep everything nice and clean. And this was, I would say, the biggest impact we made was just changing a £9 blade, squeegee blade.
Wow.
Because nobody told them that the blades wear out. So they're using old dull blades. The dull blades were giving a rough print. And so we just change them out. We don't know how to. It's just a 10mm bolt. Pop a new one in. You've got loads of new ones. Just that nobody's told them how to do it. Throw it in, take a print, and it's night and day. We didn't change the speed, the angle, the blade, the pressure, the travel. Didn't change any of that. Didn't change the mesh. All we did was swap out one blade where you couldn't feel your fingerprint on it for a blade that you could, and it just transformed the whole print. Change your squeegee blades.
Should have got a blade sharpener.
Shut up.
Yeah, you can't. Did you know what? People not going to Google. I mean,
but you don't
how
always,
to change
you
a
don't
squeegee
always
blade, you know?
get the good answer, do you? The problem with Google and YouTube and trying to find those places is you don't know. You get 17 different answers. So now you've got to decide which is the right one, because everybody thinks they're an expert or a guru, and so
Well, there is that.
you've
There
got
is
to try
that.
and filter out the ones that have been printing for 3.5 seconds who think they know what they're doing. Although
No
she's gone
names.
quiet lately.
Actually, I don't know. That was subtle, wasn't it? Gosh. Yeah, I mean... Hey, I was speaking to Dean about blade, because they changed colour to yellow, didn't they, on soft blades?
Yeah, it's
and
about cheaper from China.
yeah, we're going back to that, because I think Dean was like, what are you doing? Because it's universal. Soft is bed. We all know that.
Only European. It's not universal, it's European.
Oh, is that right?
So the company that makes them is called Femor, and they're based in France. And since the year Blob, Femor have used that colour coding system of an orange, a red, a yellow, an orange, a red, a green, and a blue.
Yeah.
And this has been 55, 65, 75, 85. And even then, when they changed to the composite blade, which we've got the 90 in the middle, we still stuck to 55, 90, 65, 90, 75, 90. And then a little known thing, if you have a red, white, red blade, okay, it is going to be 65, 90, 65. Now, if you have a white, red, white blade, it is still going to be 65, 90, 65, but it's going to be high resistance to solvents.
Oh, interesting.
So if you see a white, red, white blade instead of a red, white, red, then it is still a 65. They didn't put the 90 on the outside, but what they did is they made it out of a rubber that's got more resistance to that harsh solvents.
Chemicals. Designed
that you find
more
in
for
like acidic inks, like glass and ceramic and things like that, and UV. So
Chippy
your
Tea
75 composite high resistance is white, green, white. And your 65 high resistance is white, red, white.
Yes, it's quite universal, basically.
Yeah,
is
but
what we're saying.
only if you buy from Femor, which make them in France, Femor, they become this sort of industry standards. I think it was Watts Polyurethane used to sell them as well. Then we start getting people making their own, and they make it from whatever's left. I've got some yellow rubber left over. I've got some purple rubber. We had a job lot of purple rubber. We can turn it into a 65 blade for you. Do you want that? Yeah, I don't care what colour it is. You don't now. Wait on in 6 months' time, you don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, it throws me off. I've got some yellows on mine. I forget every time.
That's why I've got that little gerometer meter.
Oh, actually, that was an interesting development that we found out today as well. It were testing thickness.
Thickness.
And what we were finding, which we don't believe is going to be a problem really, but it was interesting. Various points of the screen, corners, middle, etc., were giving slightly different readings. So the thickness, and what we sort of concluded was potentially the harshness of power washing has sort of eaten away at the emulsion in areas of the screen. At the
thread,
the mesh, the actual mesh, the thread. So that was interesting. Something that I could probably inadvertently fix anyway, because a lot of my effort has been aimed towards reducing harshness of power blasting everything.
Yeah.
So, tangent that, wasn't it? Hey, guess what?
What?
Alex is trying the virus double-bladed squeegee.
So am I next week.
Yeah, coincidence.
I saw he posted it, and we've got one being shipped over to Long Beach next week.
You and our Bryce?
I'm going to try it live with me and our Bryce in a base white and see if it gives us good results. Alex will be using it water based, I'll be using it Blashisol.
Oh, well, that'd be good then, because you can come together and express your opinions. Maybe we should get Alex on, actually.
Again, yeah. We need to get Dean on.
Yeah, let's get Dean on.
We'll get
We
Dean
should
on.
do a few guests. We're probably
overdue
due some guests now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Not had anyone on in ages.
No, let's get some guests on.
What are you having for tea? Can hear it being made.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Don't know. What are we
Don't
having
know.
for tea?
We're not.
I'm making my own.
We're not. You'll have what you want, but
Did you catch that?
yeah, we're not. I told you, sunshine.
Crispy M&M's apparently. Bad my tea.
You've had enough of them. Dear. Right, what do you like for time? You want to knock it on, Ed?
Yeah, we'll knock it on,
is
Ed.
there what we should touch on?
No, I think we've done everything I wanted. I've done my
I
visits.
think we've eased
done your
into it,
visit.
haven't we?
Yeah. It's been a stencil related edition.
Yeah, I'd call this something to do with emulsion and stencils and screens.
Yeah.
All right, well, I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think we did good. Yeah.
Fine.
First one of 2024.
Why don't you tell us in comments? Was that a good episode back into the new year?
Give us some feedback, yeah.
Have you missed us? I know somebody's been dreaming about us, so somebody misses us.
Yeah. That's just all.
Take it. Compliment.
Yeah. And how's the volume of the microphone?
Well, this is the thing. When we're recording, it sounds great to us.
Yeah.
But then when Riverside sort of levels everything out and
Plays about with it, yeah.
does its thing, it usually does a good job, but apparently not. So
yeah, we have had a complaint that one of us we can't hear.
Yeah, actually,
Comments,
if anybody
not
else,
complaint, comment.
we've had some constructive criticism. So if anybody else finds that when they're listening to the favourite episode of a Chippy Tea podcast, one of us sounds really quiet and the other one sounds loud, so it's not very level, please do let us know, because I can't tell. I'm not really. This is my area of expertise. So
obviously, it's neither of us. Making it up as I go along. Second 68 episodes to get a good camera, for Christ's sake.
Best screen print podcast in
Local
Yorkshire.
North of Sheffield.
Yeah, I know for Sheffield, that's right. We'll take it. I'll take that award.
Right.
With
that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much for listening. You have been listening to me, Tony Palmer from Palm Print, and
Danny D for the Pursuit Print Co.
as we've embarked on yet another episode of the Chippy Tea podcast. And hopefully, if you like what you hear and see, then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You never know, you might even get some exclusive content. You won't, but it's worth just dropping that little.
It was worth.
Yeah. And
it's worth a bribe.
Keep up with us as we try and document whatever the hell it is we do every week.
Hey, I tell you what, have you got all exciting coming up this next couple of weeks? Because I sure as fuck have. I've got some awesome print jobs on, you know.
Oh, I've got Long Beach, so that's all.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting, actually.
Yeah.
That'll be a good one. But let me tell you, 6 colours all of it, sure.
6?
January's normally quiet, and my wall is full of 6 colour jobs, which in some ways like, oh shit. So in other ways, I can't wait for Instagram
put that flashback in it.
It is, aye. Christ.
Good move.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.
8 6
January.
colour jobs.
If I get 8 jobs in January, I'm usually okay. That's just my 6 colour jobs.
Awesome.
So we might have some show and tells in the next couple of episodes.
That's what we need, some show and tells. A live catch up next weekend. Some show and tells, and get some guests on. That's the plan.
If you want to come on, give us a shout.
All right, yeah.
Or donation.
Get in touch.
Donations are welcome.
Yeah, we tried that. We're screwed. It's just going to have to come out.
It never works, does it?
Yeah, no.
Never works.
Right, all that remains to be said is...
All best.
I'll see thee.
See you next week, okay?
Bye.
You take bloody good care of yourself, right?
Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry Kool-Aid. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tea.